Commander Jiwoo Park stood on the bridge of the human warship Indomitable. Her hands held tightly to the command console as she watched the stars through the massive window. The ship floated in the darkness of space, far from Earth. Around her, crew members worked at their stations, their faces lit by the blue glow of computer screens. "Commander, we have an incoming message," said Lieutenant Dae-hyun Kim. He was a young officer with worried eyes. "It's from the Galactic Council." Jiwoo nodded. She had been expecting this. For weeks, tension had been growing between humanity and the alien races that ruled the galaxy. "Put it on the main screen," she ordered. The huge display screen at the front of the bridge came to life. An alien face appeared on it. The creature was unlike anything from Earth. It had many tentacles instead of hair, and dozens of small eyes covered its head like a spider. Its mouth was a mass of moving parts that clicked and buzzed as it spoke. "Humans of the warship Indomitable," the alien said. Its voice came through the translator as a deep, wet gurgle. "I am Ambassador Crexus Theta of the Galactic Council. You will listen to our message." Jiwoo stepped forward. She had dealt with these aliens before. They always acted like they were better than humans. "We're listening," she said. Her voice was calm but firm. The alien's many eyes blinked in sequence. "The Galactic Council has watched your species with great concern. You humans are violent. You fight among yourselves. You wage war on other races. You are a danger to peace in the galaxy." Behind Jiwoo, her crew members shifted uncomfortably. They knew what was coming. "Therefore," the alien continued, "the Council demands your immediate surrender. You will accept our peace terms. You will place your ships under our control. You will allow Council observers on all human worlds. This is not a request. It is an order." Jiwoo felt anger rise in her chest, but she kept her face calm. "And if we refuse?" The alien's tentacles writhed. "Then you will face the combined fleet of the Galactic Council. We have 3,000 ships. You have fewer than 300. The choice is simple. Submit or be destroyed." Lieutenant Dae-hyun moved closer to Jiwoo. He whispered, "Commander, maybe we should consider their offer. Their fleet is huge. We can't win against those numbers." Jiwoo didn't look at him. Her eyes stayed on the alien. "No," she said loudly enough for everyone on the bridge to hear. "Humanity doesn't kneel. We never have and we never will." The alien ambassador made a sound like grinding metal. "You are foolish, human. We offer you peace. We offer you protection. We offer you a place in the galactic community. All we ask is that you accept our guidance." "You're not offering peace," Jiwoo said. Her voice grew stronger. "You're offering slavery. You want to control us, to tell us what to do, to take away our freedom. That's not peace. That's conquest dressed up in pretty words. You have 48 Earth hours to comply," the alien said. Its voice had turned cold. "After that, the Council fleet will arrive at your home system. Think carefully, Commander. Your decision will determine the fate of your entire species." The screen went dark. The bridge was silent for a moment. Every crew member looked at their commander, waiting to see what she would do. Jiwoo turned to face her people. She saw fear in some faces, anger in others. But in all of them, she saw determination. These were humans. They had come from a world where survival meant fighting. They had climbed out of caves, built cities, reached for the stars. They hadn't done it by giving up when things got hard. "Communications officer," she said. "Open a channel to Earth Command, Priority 1. "Yes, Commander," replied Ensign Soo-jin Bae. Her fingers flew over her console. "Channel open. Earth Command. This is Commander Jiwoo Park of the Indomitable. The Galactic Council has given us an ultimatum. They want our complete surrender. Within 48 hours. They threaten us with their fleet if we refuse." There was a pause. Then a voice came through the speakers. It was Admiral Junho Han, the head of Earth's Space Defense Force. "We read you, Commander. What is your assessment?" Jiwoo straightened her shoulders. "Sir, they're not offering peace. They want to make us their subjects. They want to control our ships, watch our worlds, tell us how to live. If we accept, humanity will never be free again." "Understood," the Admiral said. "What do you recommend?" We fight, sir. We show them that humans don't surrender. We've faced worse odds before. Our ancestors fought with sticks and stones against predators. They survived ice ages and plagues. They built civilizations from nothing. We can do this. Another pause. Then, agreed, Commander. Return to Earth immediately. We have preparations to make. Yes, sir. Oh, and Admiral, please ask Ambassador Minji Lee to meet me when I arrive. I have some ideas about how to handle the Council. Will do. Safe journey, Commander. Jiwoo turned to her helm officer. Set course for Earth. Maximum speed. Yes, Commander, said Lieutenant Hyunwoo Jung. He began entering coordinates into his console. As the ship turned toward home, Jiwoo looked around at her crew. They were young, most of them. They had joined the Space Force for adventure, for the chance to explore the stars. Now they faced war against an enemy that outnumbered them 10-1. Listen up, everyone, she said. I won't lie to you. This is going to be hard. The Council has more ships, more resources, more experience, but they've made one big mistake. She paused, making sure she had everyone's attention. They think we're just another primitive species to be controlled. They think because we're young in space, we're weak. They don't understand what it means to be human. She walked among the stations, looking at each crew member. We're the species that looked at the ocean and built boats. We looked at the sky and built planes. We looked at space and built rockets. Every time something told us we couldn't do something, we did it anyway. But Commander, said Ensign Min Jung-oh from the weapons station, their technology is more advanced. Their ships are bigger. Jiwoo smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who knew something others didn't. That's true. But humans have something they don't understand. We know how to fight when we're outnumbered. We know how to win when everyone says we'll lose. And most importantly, we know how to make our enemies regret threatening us. She returned to her command chair and sat down. In 48 hours, the Galactic Council expects us to surrender. Instead, we're going to show them why humans are the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Not because we love war, but because we refuse to be slaves. The bridge crew nodded. Fear was still there, but it was mixed with something else now. Pride. Determination. The knowledge that they were part of something bigger than themselves. Outside the windows, stars streaked past as the ship jumped to faster than light speed. Behind them, the alien ambassador's ship hung in space, its crew no doubt reporting back to the Council. In 48 hours, everything would change. The galaxy thought humans were just another young race to be controlled and managed. They were about to learn how wrong they were. As Earth grew larger in the view screen, Jiwoo allowed herself a small smile. The Galactic Council wanted peace? They would get it, but it would be on humanity's terms, or not at all. The stars belonged to everyone. And humans would never let anyone take that away from them. The grand chamber of the Galactic Council floated in space like a giant crystal ball. Inside, 12 different alien species sat in a perfect circle. Each species had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. They believed they were wise. They believed they were right. Today, they would learn they were wrong. In the center of the chamber stood Ambassador Yoon Seo Choi. She was one of only 5 humans ever allowed inside this sacred place. She looked small compared to the massive aliens around her, but she stood tall and proud. The High Arbitrator spoke first. This alien was made of pure energy, held inside a metal shell shaped like a person. Its voice sounded like thunder. Ambassador Choi, your species has refused our generous offer of peace. Explain this foolishness. Yoon Seo took a deep breath. She had prepared for this moment. High Arbitrator, with respect, you did not offer us peace, you offered us chains. A ripple of anger moved through the chamber. The Vailnari representative, a creature made of living crystal, chimed like breaking glass. How dare you speak this way? We offer protection to primitive species. We guide them to civilization. We don't need your protection, Yoon Seo said. Her voice was calm but firm. And we are already civilized. We just have a different idea of what civilization means. The Thelgora ambassador, a huge blob of green jelly with eyes floating inside it, pulsed with yellow light. This meant it was upset. Your species has been in space for only 200 years. You have fought 17 wars with member races. You are violent, dangerous. You need control. Yunseo smiled. It was not a friendly smile. Let's talk about those 17 wars. Would you like me to list them? The chamber grew quiet. The aliens looked at each other. They had not expected this. The Karnathi incident, Yunseo began. Year 2287. The Karnathi Empire attacked 3 human colonies. They wanted to take our people as slaves. We fought back. We won. The council said nothing. She walked in a slow circle, looking at each alien. The Zelphon blockade, year 2301. The Zelphon Federation blocked all trade to human worlds. They wanted to starve us into submission. We broke their blockade. We won. Again, the council was silent. The High Arbitrator's energy flickered. Those were minor conflicts, local disputes. Minor? Yunseo's voice grew sharper. The Vailnari intervention, year 2318. The Vailnari decided that human settlements were in their traditional expansion zone. They tried to forcibly relocate 2 million humans. We refused. They attacked. We defended ourselves. The crystal alien made a sound like wind chimes. That territory was marked for Vailnari use in the Great Charter of a charter humans never signed. Yunseo interrupted. A charter written before humans reached space. You cannot bind us to agreements we never made. The Zalith member spoke next. This species looked like giant spiders made of metal. Their voice clicked and clattered. You speak of defense, but your methods are brutal. You fight without honor. You use tricks and deception. Yunseo nodded. Yes, we do. Because we learned long ago that honor means nothing if you're dead. We fight to win. We fight to survive. Every species here became dominant by being the strongest in their world. Why do you condemn us for doing the same? The chamber fell silent again. The truth was uncomfortable. The High Arbitrator leaned forward. Your fleet movement suggests you are preparing for war. Our sensors show your ships massing near Earth. This is not defense. This is aggression. You threatened us, Yunseo said, simply. You told us to surrender or be destroyed. What did you expect us to do? Roll over and show our bellies like scared animals? We expected wisdom, said the Morvac representative. This alien looked like a tree with eyes. We expected you to see the futility of resistance. Our combined fleet is 10 times larger than yours. You cannot win. Yunseo's eyes glinted. Can't we? You know, there's something interesting about humans. We have a saying, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. The translator system struggled with this. Several aliens looked confused. What does this mean? Asked the Thelgora. It means, Yunseo explained, that determination matters more than numbers. That the will to fight matters more than the size of your army. You have more ships, yes. But do your people want this war? Do they believe in it? Because I can tell you every human ship is crewed by people who would rather die than live as slaves. The High Arbitrator's energy form pulsed red. You speak of slavery. We offer partnership. Partnership? Yunseo laughed. It was not a pleasant sound. Partners are equals. Partners make decisions together. You want to control our ships, watch our worlds, approve our actions. That's not partnership. That's ownership. You are young, said the ancient Yixmar, speaking, for the first time. This species was so old their bodies were mostly machine. You do not understand the greater good. Individual freedom must sometimes be sacrificed for galactic harmony. And who decides what this greater good is? Yunseo asked. You? The species that have ruled for so long you've forgotten what it's like to be free? The species that see younger races as children to be managed? She pulled out a small device and activated it. A hologram appeared in the center of the chamber. It showed Earth, blue and green and beautiful. This is our world, she said. For 200,000 years humans lived there. We fought nature. We fought predators. We fought disease. We fought each other. But we also created art, music, love, hope. We reached for the stars not because it was easy, but because it was hard. The hologram changed. Now it showed human ships, not sleek and beautiful like council vessels, but sturdy and strong. These are our ships. We built them with our own hands. We powered them with our own technology. We crew them with our own people. They are not as advanced as yours, but they are ours, and we will not give them up. The High Arbitrator stood. Its energy form grew brighter. You have 24 hours left, Ambassador. Tell your leaders to see reason. The Council's patience is not infinite. Yunseo deactivated the hologram. She looked around the chamber one last time. You want to know the truth? You're afraid of us. Not because we're violent, but because we're different. We don't fit into your neat little system. We ask questions. We refuse to be controlled. We remind you that once, long ago, your species were young and wild and free. She walked toward the exit. At the doorway, she stopped and turned back. You have 24 hours to withdraw your demands, she said. After that, you'll learn what humans are really capable of. We didn't climb to the top of our food chain by being nice. We did it by being smart, by being tough, and by never, ever giving up. The door closed behind her with a soft hiss. The chamber erupted in argument. Some aliens wanted to attack immediately. Others urged caution. The High Arbitrator called for order, but for the first time in centuries, the council was divided. Outside, the chamber Yunseo walked through the station's corridors. Her footsteps echoed in the empty hallways. She reached her small ship and sent a message to Earth. Meeting concluded. They're not backing down. Neither are we. Tell the fleet to be ready. She looked back at the vast council station one more time. Inside, 12 ancient species debated the fate of humanity. They still believed they were in control. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Admiral Junho Han stood on the command deck of Earth's orbital defense station. Through the massive windows, he could see the blue planet below. Around Earth, hundreds of human ships gathered like protective wolves around their den. Junho activated the communications system. His image would appear on every human ship, every colony, every military base across human space. This was the moment that would define humanity's future. My fellow humans, he began. His voice was calm but strong. The Galactic Council has given us a choice. Surrender or face destruction. They call us primitive. They call us violent. They say we need their control to become civilized. He paused, letting his words sink in. Across human space, billions watched and listened. I say they're wrong. We are not primitive. We are young. We are not violent. We are strong. We do not need their control. We need our freedom. On the battlecruiser Resilience, Captain Heejin Cho watched the Admiral's speech with her crew. She saw determination in their faces. These were the sons and daughters of Earth, born among the stars but carrying the spirit of their ancestors. The Council has 3,000 ships. Junho continued. We have 300. They say we cannot win. They say we should not even try. But they forget something important. He leaned forward, his eyes burning with intensity. They forget that humans have always done the impossible. We flew before we had wings. We reached the moon with computers, less powerful than a child's toy. We cured diseases that killed millions. We split the atom. We united a divided world. Lieutenant So-min Park, watching from her tactical station, felt pride swell in her chest. She thought of her grandmother's stories about the Korean War, about how a small nation stood against overwhelming odds and survived. The Council thinks numbers decide wars, Junho said. But history teaches us differently. 300 Spartans held off an empire. A few thousand colonists defeated the world's greatest military power. Again and again, the smaller force with greater will has triumphed. He gestured to a display showing Earth's fleet. Look at our ships. They're not as pretty as Council vessels. They're not as advanced. But they have something the Council doesn't understand. They're crewed by humans who would rather die free than live as slaves. On the destroyer Defiant, Commander Jae-sung Lim addressed his crew. You heard the Admiral. They think we're too violent? Let's show them what human violence really looks like when it's directed at those who threaten our freedom. Back on the orbital station, Junho continued his speech. I won't lie to you. This will be the hardest fight humanity has ever faced. Some of us won't come home. But if we surrender, none of us will ever truly be home again. We'll be pets, subjects, slaves to alien masters who think they know better. He straightened his uniform. The council gave us 24 hours. We've used that time well. Our scientists have been busy. Our engineers have worked miracles. Our strategists have planned the impossible. In the engineering bay of the frigate Swift Strike, Chief Engineer Dong-Hyun An checked the new weapon systems. Quantum torpedoes online, he reported. Plasma lance arrays charged. Stealth systems operational. They want to see human innovation? They're about to get a face full of it. Junho's image flickered as he connected to a secure channel. Captain Sang-Woo Yun, are your ghost ships ready? From the bridge of the destroyer Indefatigable, Captain Yun responded. 50 stealth frigates standing by, Admiral. The Council's sensors won't see us until it's too late. Good. Captain Mi Kyung-ryu, what's the status of Operation Trojan? Oh, female voice answered. Electronic warfare suites are active. We've analyzed their communication protocols. When the time comes, we'll turn their own systems against them. Junho nodded. And the Home Guard? 500 civilian ships volunteered, reported Colonel Tae Yang-shin. Cargo haulers, mining vessels, even private yachts. They're not warships, but their crews refuse to sit this out. The Admiral smiled grimly. The Council thinks we're divided. They think our history of internal conflicts makes us weak. They're about to learn that humans may fight among ourselves, but when faced with an external threat, we become one. He switched back to the general broadcast. To our colonies on Mars, the Moon, and beyond, you are not alone. Earth stands with you. To our ships in deep space, make your way home or to the nearest human system. We face this together. On Mars, Governor Yoonji Hwang watched from the red planet's primary dome. Around her, colonists prepared defenses. They had carved a life from dead rock. They wouldn't give it up without a fight. The Council says we're a young species, Junho continued. They're right. We've only been in space for 2 centuries, but youth means energy. It means adaptability. It means we haven't forgotten how to fight when everything is against us. He pulled up tactical displays. They expect us to meet them, in open space ship to ship, where their numbers give them advantage. They expect us to fight by their rules with their concepts of honor and proper warfare. A dangerous smile crossed his face. They're about to learn that humans don't fight fair when our survival is at stake. We fight smart. We fight dirty. We fight to win. Lieutenant G.A. Kim, monitoring long-range sensors, reported. Admiral, Council fleet movement detected. They're massing at the edge of our system. Junho nodded. So it begins. All ships execute deployment pattern Sigma. Reserve fleet remain hidden. Let them think they see all our forces. Across Earth space, ships began moving into position, but not all of them. In the shadow of asteroids, behind moons, in the depths of space where sensors struggled to penetrate, dozens of vessels waited in silence. My fellow humans, Junho said, his voice reaching across the void. In a few hours, the Council fleet will arrive. They come with overwhelming numbers. They come with advanced technology. They come with absolute confidence in their victory. He paused, then spoke the words that would echo through history. They come to face humans, and that will be their greatest mistake. On every ship, in every colony, humans prepared for battle. They checked weapons, ran diagnostics, said prayers to various gods or to no god at all. They wrote letters home, kissed pictures of loved ones, and steeled themselves for what was to come. Remember, Junho concluded, we don't fight because we hate what's in front of us. We fight because we love what's behind us, Earth, our colonies, our children, our future among the stars. He looked directly into the camera. The Council wants to teach us our place in the galaxy. Let's teach them ours instead. To all human forces, prepare for combat. Today we show the galaxy why humanity will never kneel. The broadcast ended. Across human space, a silence fell. It was the silence before the storm, the deep breath before the plunge. Humanity had chosen its path. Now they would walk it, no matter where it led. In 12 hours, the Council fleet would arrive. In 12 hours, the galaxy would learn what humans were truly capable of when pushed to the edge. The wait began. The Galactic Council fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation. 3,000 ships from 12 species filled the darkness with their presence. Each vessel was a masterpiece of technology, smooth and graceful, built by civilizations that had traveled the stars for millennia. Commander Zix Theta of the Thelgora commanded the fleet from his flagship, the Eternal Order. His gelatinous form rippled with confidence as he surveyed the human system. "Where is their pathetic fleet?" he asked, his voice dripping with contempt. "Our sensors show empty space around their world." His second-in-command, a crystalline Vailnari, chimed nervously. "Perhaps they've already surrendered or fled." Zix Theta pulsed yellow with amusement. "Of course. They saw our might and recognized the futility of resistance. Scan again. Find their ships. They must be—" Alarms suddenly screamed across every council ship. Warning lights flashed. Sensor officers shouted in confusion. "Commander, ships appearing. Inside our formation." "Impossible." Zix Theta's form turned orange with shock. "From where?" Human vessels materialized out of nowhere. Not at the edge of the system where the Council expected them, but among the Council's own ships. The humans had developed stealth technology that made them invisible to standard sensors. Captain Sang Woo Yun stood on the bridge of the Indefatigable. He smiled as his ship appeared right next to a Council battlecruiser. "All ghost ships, drop stealth. Execute paradigm shift. Time to introduce ourselves." 50 human vessels appeared throughout the Council formation. Each had positioned itself. For maximum effect, the Council's perfect formation became a confused mess as ships tried to target enemies that were already among them. "Fire," Sang-Woo ordered. Human ships unleashed their weapons. But these weren't the simple plasma cannons the Council expected. Quantum torpedoes phased through shields. Plasma lances cut through armor like paper. Electronic warfare suites turned Council systems against themselves. On the orbital defense station, Admiral Jun-Ho Han watched the battle unfold. Phase 2, Main Fleet engage. Show them human teamwork. The rest of Earth's fleet, which had been hiding behind the planet, surged forward. They moved in small groups using tactics learned from thousands of years of human warfare. Captain Hee-Jin Cho led her squadron in what ancient Earth called a wolf pack attack. 5 destroyers worked together, targeting a single Council dreadnought. They hit from different angles, never staying still, always moving. "Hard to port," she ordered, as enemy fire missed her ship by meters. "Attack pattern Delta. Don't give them a steady target." The Council forces, despite their advanced technology, found themselves outmaneuvered. Their tactics were based on formal battle lines and honorable combat. The humans fought like predators, fast, cunning, and coordinated. On the Council flagship, Commander Zix Theta watched in horror as his neat battle plan fell apart. "Order all ships to regroup, form defensive positions." But the human electronic warfare was jamming communications. Council ships received conflicting orders or no orders at all. Some fired on each other by mistake. Lieutenant So-Min Park, aboard the carrier Victory, coordinated fighter launches. "All squadrons execute swarm tactics, target their weapon systems. And engines. Don't try to destroy them, cripple them." Hundreds of small human fighters poured from carrier bays. They were tiny compared to the massive Council ships, but they moved like angry insects, striking vulnerable spots and dodging return fire. In the engineering section of the frigate Thunder, Chief Dong-Hyun An watched his new weapons perform. "Quantum torpedoes are working perfectly. Their shields can't stop them." 20 years of secret development, and it was worth every minute. The battle raged across the solar system. Council ships, despite their superior numbers, found themselves struggling. Human vessels used gravity wells to slingshot around planets, hid in asteroid fields, and attacked from unexpected angles. Captain Mi-kyung Ryu, aboard the electronic warfare ship Whisper, executed the next phase. Initiate Operation Trojan. Time to use their own systems against them. Her crew sent carefully crafted signals that mimicked Council command codes. Suddenly, Council ships began receiving false orders. Some shut down their weapons. Others turned away from the battle. On the High Arbitrator's personal dreadnought, chaos reigned. The ancient being's energy form flickered with distress. How? How are primitives doing this? Our technology is superior. His tactical officer, a spider like Zaleth, clicked nervously. They fight without pattern, without honor. They use tricks and deception. Then predict their tricks, the High Arbitrator demanded. But that was the problem. Human tactics came from millennia of warfare, from Sun Tzu to Alexander, from Nelson to Nimitz. They combined ancient wisdom with modern technology in ways the Council couldn't understand. Commander, Jae-Sung Lim led a boarding action against a disabled Council cruiser. His Marines moved through the corridors with practiced efficiency. They used non-lethal weapons. The goal wasn't to kill, but to capture. Secure the bridge, he ordered. Show them we could kill them, but choose not to. Let them think about that. Back. On the Victory, Admiral Yoon Ha-song coordinated the overall battle. They're starting to panic. Good. Panicked enemies make mistakes. All units maintain pressure. Don't let them regroup. The battle continued for hours. Council ships designed for formal combat between civilized species struggled against human guerrilla tactics. Humans' ships appeared and disappeared, struck and faded, always keeping the enemy off balance. Governor Tae Min Baek, watching from his command center in the asteroid belt, activated the final surprise. Mining fleet execute hammer and anvil, show them what civilian ships can do. Hundreds of mining vessels modified with weapons and armor emerged from hiding. They weren't pretty or sophisticated, but they were tough. They slammed into the Council's rear formations like battering rams. Commander Zixatheta's form had turned black with despair. Half his fleet was disabled, the other half was in chaos. These humans weren't fighting like any species he'd encountered. They fought like demons, like creatures born from chaos itself. Send the surrender signal, he finally ordered. Tell them we yield. But Captain Sang-woo Yoon's response was unexpected. We're not finished teaching the lesson. Continue the attack. Disable every ship. Let them float helpless. Let them understand what it feels like to be powerless. The human fleet pressed its advantage. Ship after ship fell silent. Weapons destroyed. Engines crippled. The mighty Council armada became a field of drifting hulks. On Earth, billions watched as their outnumbered fleet achieved the impossible. In schools, children saw their parents and siblings become legends. In homes, families celebrated and cried. Admiral Junho Han observed the final stages of the battle. He thought of ancient Korean admirals who had defeated invading fleets through superior tactics. History might not repeat, but it certainly rhymed. All units cease fire, he finally ordered. The lesson is delivered. Prepare for boarding operations. It's time to discuss new terms. As the guns fell silent, 3,000 Council ships drifted helplessly in space. They were intact but impotent, their crews alive but defeated. The human fleet, still largely undamaged, moved among them like shepherds among sheep. The battle was over. But the real victory was just beginning. 3 days after the battle, the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council looked very different. Human Marines stood guard at every entrance. The 12 ancient species sat in their circle, but now they were the ones being judged. Ambassador Minji Lee walked to the center of the chamber. She wore a simple black suit, not the elaborate robes the Council expected. Behind her stood Admiral Junho Han and several human officers. The High Arbitrator's energy form flickered weakly. His mechanical shell bore scorch marks from human plasma, weapons. When he spoke, his voice had lost its thunder. What do you want from us, humans? Minji looked around the chamber. These beings had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. They had decided the fate of hundreds of species. Now they waited to hear their own fate. We want you to listen, she said simply. Really listen. Not as rulers to subjects, but as equals. The Vailnari representative chimed softly. We misjudged you. We saw your violence but not your restraint. We saw your youth but not your wisdom. Commander Jiwoo Park, now promoted to admiral for her actions in the war, stepped forward. You feared us because we're violent. But look at your own ships. They're still intact. Your people are still alive. We could have destroyed you all. We chose not to. The Thelgora ambassador pulsed blue with shame. Why? Why show mercy when we threatened your extinction? Minji smiled. Because violence isn't who we are. It's a tool we use when needed. We learned long ago that the best victory is when your enemy becomes your friend. She activated a holographic display. It showed the disabled Council fleet being repaired by human engineers. Council crews worked alongside humans, learning and teaching. Your ships are being fixed, Minji explained. Your wounded are being healed. Your people are being fed. This is what humans do. We fight hard, but we build peace harder. The High Arbitrator leaned forward. What are your terms? What price for our defeat? Admiral Junho Han spoke for the first time. No price. No punishment. Only change. The aliens stirred uneasily. They had expected demands for territory, resources, or tribute. This was not how galactic politics worked. We want to join the Galactic Council, Minji continued, but as equals. No restrictions on our sovereignty, no limits on our expansion, no oversight of our internal affairs. That's all? Asked the ancient Yixmar, their mechanical parts whirring with confusion. No, Minji said. We want the Council to change. For 10,000 years you've ruled over younger species. You've decided their fates. You've limited their growth. That ends now. She brought up images of various species under Council control. Every race deserves freedom. Every species deserves to choose its own path. The Council should guide, not rule. Advise, not command. The Morvac representative, looking like an ancient tree, rustled its leaves. But without control, there will be chaos, wars, conflicts. Captain Heejin Cho laughed. You mean like the 17 wars we fought while under your protection? Your control didn't prevent conflict. It just made it happen in shadows. Minji nodded. Humans know about conflict. We've had thousands of wars. We've made terrible mistakes, but we've also learned from them. Real peace doesn't come from control. It comes from understanding. The High Arbitrator's form brightened slightly. You speak of ideals. The galaxy is not ideal. Some species are aggressive. Some are dangerous. Like humans? Asked Admiral Jiwoo with a smile. Yes, some species are dangerous. But danger controlled becomes weakness. Danger channeled becomes strength. Look what humanity achieved in just 200 years. Imagine what other dangerous species might accomplish if given freedom. Lieutenant Somin Park, now Commander Park, added her voice. The Council fears change, but change is natural. Stars are born and die. Planets evolve. Species grow. Fighting change is like fighting gravity, exhausting and pointless. Minji walked to each council member in turn. The Vailnari achieved faster-than-light travel through crystalline matrices. Beautiful. The Thelgora mastered biotechnology. Impressive. The Zalith built the first artificial minds. Revolutionary. She paused. But when was your last breakthrough? When did you last push boundaries? You've become comfortable. Stagnant. You've forgotten how to grow. The chamber fell silent. The truth was uncomfortable, but undeniable. Humans offer you partnership, Minji continued. Real partnership. We'll share our innovations, our quantum weapons, our stealth technology, our tactical knowledge. But we expect the same from you. The High Arbitrator looked at his fellow council members. Slowly, one by one, they signaled agreement. Your terms are acceptable, he finally said. The Galactic Council recognizes humanity as an equal member. No restrictions, no oversight, full sovereignty. But Minji wasn't finished. And the other restricted species, the ones you call primitive or dangerous? The High Arbitrator's form flickered. This was harder to accept. That will require discussion. Admiral Junho Han stepped forward. Then let's discuss. But know this. Humanity will advocate for every species' freedom. We won't be the last to break your chains. We'll help others break theirs. The Thelgora ambassador pulsed thoughtfully. Perhaps it is time for change. The galaxy has grown larger. Our old ways may no longer serve. Over the next hours they talked, really talked, not as rulers and subjects, but as equals. They discussed new structures for the Council, ways to guide without controlling, methods to prevent conflicts without crushing freedom. Captain Sang Woo-yun watched from the sidelines. He whispered to Chief Engineer Dong Hyun-an, "Think it will work? Real peace?" Dong Hyun smiled. "Look at them. For the first time in centuries, they're thinking new thoughts. That's the real victory." As the discussions continued, news spread across the galaxy. The mighty Galactic Council had not just been defeated, they had been transformed. Species that had cowered under Council rule began to hope. Maybe they too could be free. On Earth, celebrations filled the streets. But in the government buildings and military centers, planning continued. Peace was won, but keeping it would require work. Young Mi-sun Kim, a child in Seoul, watched the news with her grandfather. "Did we really win, grandfather?" The old man smiled. "Yes, little one, but not by destroying our enemies. We won by making them our friends. That's the best kind of victory." In the Grand Chamber, as agreements were reached and documents signed, Min-ji made one final statement. Today marks a new chapter for the galaxy. Not the day humanity conquered, but the day we chose partnership over domination. The stars are vast. There's room for everyone to grow, to explore, to become their best selves. She looked at the assembled species. Former enemies, now allies. Humanity didn't reject peace. We rejected submission. Today, we found real peace. The peace of equals, the peace of choice, the peace of freedom. As the ceremony ended and delegates prepared to return to their worlds, the High Arbitrator approached Min-ji privately. "You've changed everything," he said. "The galaxy will never be the same." Min-ji smiled. "That's the point. Change is how we grow, and growing is how we live." The stars shone through the chamber's windows. Countless suns, countless worlds, countless possibilities. Humanity had earned its place among them, not through conquest but through courage, not through force alone, but through the strength to show mercy. The galaxy had learned to respect humanity. More importantly, it had learned to respect freedom, and that more than any battle was humanity's greatest victory.